Hello, everybody. Welcome back to E20 Zone TV. I hope you're all having a really good Friday. Sun is shining in the UK and the summer looks like it's finally arrived. I will say that. And some good news today about one man that we do not want to lose. It is this man, Lucas Paquetta stays. Reports come out earlier on today that basically Manchester City are going to look at other targets, and really, I think it's really good news. Basically, there's a 10% chance of this deal actually happening, which I like their mods. As a betting person, as a betting man, I do like their mods in regards of Lucas Paqueta staying. Honestly, it's two sides of looking at this, and Alf is going to be joining me later on when he arrives. But on my side of the coin on this one, I look at Lucas Paqueta and I think, is Lucas Paqueta worth £85 million right now? The answer to that is no. No, I don't think he's worth 85 million, but to us, he's worth 85 million. West Ham have sort of laid down the marker and basically turned around and said that 85 million plus Cole Palmer, which is like really sort of putting it on City. But at the end of the day, I don't know. I'm quite happy with this one though. I want Lucas Paqueta here, and you know, for me, I like it. I like it. Like he's a sort of player we want to build around, and like I will get everyone's comments in shortly. But Paqueta and Kudus together, possibly, I think it's going to be amazing, mate. I think it's going to do some serious bits. So we will see what happens with that. Let's have a look what we got here. Let's get to Birdie. James, I was Suchek and James Collins, and now you're Birdie 063. Hope you're good, man. What does Paqueta and Kudus? What does Kudus and Paqueta fit? Does this mean Bowen is playing striker? I think Bowen's playing striker, mate, all day long. I don't like it. I'll be honest, but I think that's what's happening. I think Kudus is playing on the right, or he's playing behind Bowen, just behind him. And I think maybe Paqueta plays in like a three-man midfield. Don't like it though. But that's on Moyes, but we're going to get to Moyes shortly. West Ham have agreed personal terms with Mohamed Kudus. Really want us to get him over the line against Brighton. Charlie, I totally agree, mate. Totally agree. I remember watching that geezer, and this is like, chuck your comments in by all means, yeah? I remember watching that geezer against Liverpool away when he scored that thunderbolt of a goal, and I was like, whoa, this geezer is pretty decent. And I sort of wondered, like, why are you at Ajax for? That sort of thing. Like, no disrespect to Ajax. Ajax are quite a big club, but they're not sort of one of the higher statue clubs in world football. And for us to go and possibly get this man, I don't know. I just think it's going to be I think it's going to be amazing signing. I'll be honest. Afternoon, James. I was just reading on the news now that Kudus hasn't decided yet if he's joining. I think he will join, mate. I think Alvarez being there, I think he's got the opportunity to come and play. Yeah, like I really do. If Kudus and Paqueta are in midfield, where does that leave James Ward-Prowse? I think it's going to be James Ward-Prowse, Lucas Paqueta, and Alvarez. I don't think Suchek's going to be playing, mate. I'll be quite shocked if that's not the midfield. Paqueta, Ward-Prowse, and Alvarez. And then you've got Bowen up front, Kudus on the right, and on the left, you've got either Cornet, you've either got Ben Rama or Fornells. Not happy with it, really, if I'm being honest. I think the left-hand side is majorly weak, even though I do back Ben Rama up. And I will be honest, I do back Ben Rama up. We need better than Ben Rama, like, and I say it quite openly. For me, West Ham should be out looking for a centre forward and not having Bowen going up front. But it is what it is. Like, I don't like it with Moyes, where he keeps mucking about with wingers and putting them into strikers. Because what it is, for how good Bowen is right now as a right winger inside forward, you stick him up top, he could be like a headless chicken. He really could. So we'll see what happens there. Ajax apparently asking for 46 million after agreeing 35 with Brighton. Our offer was 41. I think it's going to get done, mate. Have faith, people. Have faith. Afternoon, James. Up the hammers. Lee, hope you're doing very well, mate, wherever you are. That's good to see Cresswell training with the squad again. Do you think this means he's staying, James? I honestly don't know, mate. I did see him the other day in regards, happy Hammer, hope you're well. I did see him the other day smiling, giggling, happy and all that. I think he's just got to come to the conclusion that if he can't move, then West Ham ain't going to get rid of him and put himself in bother. Do you know what I'm saying? I think with Paquetta staying, it sort of opens up a lot of sort of questions that need to be answered. Really, is well, are we getting another left back? Is Cresswell leaving? Are we getting a striker? Now, I see something the other day on Talk Sport. Now, make of it what you make of it on Talk Sport, yeah. But Alan Brazil basically turned around and said that Mikel Antonio is packed up and he's ready to leave. So whatever that means, like he's packed up all his stuff and he's basically looking for a move. Now, whether that's a move up north or a move to a different country, I don't know. But it doesn't sound good with Antonio, really. And for me, I just think we need an upgrade on Antonio. Now, whether or not that's the Montpellier striker, I don't know. But to talk about Lucas Paquetta for a minute, that just gives me so much confidence now going into the new season that we've got someone who can create like he can. Do you know what I'm saying? We do need him, right? Really. And I think if we go and replace him and Deck in the same window, for me, like it could come tumbling down massively. And you just don't want that. Like, I don't mind building up to a Declan Rice sale, and let's be honest, we have done. But to lose Lucas Paqueta in the same window, I think could be disaster for West Ham. And then you've got to hope these players are going to come in and hit the ground running. Obviously, Rashane Thomas for the Athletic turned around and said today that Ward-Prowse and Alvarez are going to be in the squad for Sunday's game against Chelsea, which I think is absolutely brilliant. Do you mean I want to see Alvarez start, mate? I think he's absolutely top class, that kid. And I think he's going to be like a duck to water, mate, when it comes to the Premier League. Let's get into this. What's your thoughts on Wahi? I originally was against it, but I heard different stories regarding his allegations. The problem you've got with him now, he's the Montpellier striker. That listen, WestHamOnline does not want him anywhere near the club. Literally, I've done spaces with online. I've spoke to online on here. He's in the WhatsApp with me. He does not want this kid anywhere near West Ham. And his attitude is, there's so many strikers out there. Why are we going for one who's got so much baggage at the minute? Now, on one side of the coin with this, I do understand what West Ham Online is saying. I really do. Because on West Ham don't need the grief, of him having like court cases and all that or anything like that. Now, they are all allegations, and obviously, like, he's not guilty. Like, he's like, do you know what I mean? He's got, like, he's innocent until proven guilty. But there has to, like, be a sort of line where you go, you know what? Let him become in it, like, like, get his innocence first before, like, us going in for him. I don't think this is a good move, really. I think West Ham need to go out and go and get someone else. Like, there's so many strikers out there. I think this one is, it's just not a good move in my eyes. It really ain't. Like, fans will go out and chant about, obviously, Thomas Partey and he's like bad stuff he's done. And then we're going to bring a striker who's done something pretty similar. Do you know what I mean? So it's not really good. Um, if Paqueta, if we were was Paqueta this season is the best time for him to go, with De Bruyne out for 4 months, giving him a far better chance of getting game time. From the Lucas Paqueta side of things, it's a great move, isn't it? Let's be real. If you're a West Ham player right now and Pep Guardiola rings you up and says you want to come and play for the champions of Europe, champions of the Premier League, Super Cup champions, it's very hard to say no. The only thing I can think of is I don't think this is on Paqueta. I really don't. I think this is on his missus more than anything. I think his missus wants to stay wants him to stay at West Ham because I see something the other day and someone said to me, said, "What surprised me if his missus is ruling the roost." Now, if you've got a missus, anyone out there, they usually wear the trousers in the relationship, and you usually have to do as you're told. So, um, I don't see Lucas Paqueta pushing and forcing this move. I really don't. Like, he's not saying, I want to leave, I want to go there. He hasn't put a transfer request in. And let's be honest, if West Ham were holding him back from a move, I think he would do if he really wanted to go. So I don't think he was really bothered either way. I think he enjoys being at West Ham. He's loved by the fans. I love him. Alfie is on the fence a little bit with regard to the transfer, and I do understand what Alfie's saying. £85 million is a lot of money for a player who's only been here 4 months, really, because at the beginning part of the season he was just bedding into to the club. Last 4 months he's been absolutely brilliant from last season, and he might not get that again. So I understand what he's saying, but I want Paqueta here. Like, I've seen many like showmen at West Ham, like Al Berkovic, Di Canio, to name them two, right, who are top players in their own right back in their time of playing for West Ham. So I want Paquetta here. It's not about the money. I think you can lose him on some things like next season. You can prepare better next season for the loss of Lucas Paquetta than you can this year. I think if we lose him right now, it's all well and good getting the money for him. Don't get me wrong, but it'll be the same old stuff again. Scattergun approach. Let's see who we can find, who we can get. So yeah, let's get down here. I've rambled on a little bit there. I do apologise. Are you warming to James Ward-Prowse yet? Do you know what? Um, I don't know, mate. I don't know. It's gonna. I want him to do well for us. Don't get me wrong, but I still think we need some power in that midfield area. Like I think Alvarez is a really really good player. He's the sort of player West Ham need. Right, I think the fans are gonna love him. I really do. He's no nonsense. He's grit. He's power. He's everything that you want. I think Ward-Prowse brings you quality in set pieces and all that, but it's just the overall gameplay of him. I think after the first sort of 5 games of him, I will sort of assess if he's like a all-round midfielder or he's just a decentist midfielder with excellent set piece quality. So I don't know, mate. Roy, hope you're doing well, mate. All the best to you and your family, man. Why are we not in first, mate? Is would be amazing for us. Yeah, I remember when we was in for him before. I think is he Polish? I think he is. Or yeah, he's Polish. No, he ain't Polish. He's from Czech Republic. I liked him before. I remember at the Euros, I think he was absolutely first class. But West Ham just don't go for them type of players, mate. Stevie, my team for Chelsea: Ariola, Cafal, Emerson, Aguerd, Zuma, Alvarez, James Ward-Prowse, Bowen, Benron, Paqueta, and not it's not my choice, but Antonio, only because we haven't got a striker. It's a big game on the weekend. Obviously, the preview come out earlier on. I'll give you my thoughts on that on the preview. Go over and check the preview out. For me, Alvarez has to play in this game. Yeah, and Ward-Prowse. I want to see both of them in this team. There is no time for bedding in all this game, right? Because West Ham have got Chelsea, Brighton, Luton, then there's an international break. Yeah, get them in the team there, get them used to it, chuck them in at the deep end. These are professional footballers. These ain't no novices. Like Alvarez has played for Ajax, he's won titles, and James Ward-Prowse has played so many games in the Premier League. It's unreal. Get him in. Don't muck about. At the end of the day, if we keep in Paqueta and get these others in and a good striker, it could be a good squad to start with. Got to keep building. I agree on that. I do agree, Gaz, on that. I just think on from what people I've been speaking to, like I've done a space last night. I made a really good conversation about it last night. I think some people are in the mindset of like 85 million for this geezer right now. Like is pretty good. Like let's be honest. If you would have sort of give a fee for Lucas Paqueta last season, I would have probably given him about 65, maybe 60 at best. I think he's earned a little bit more than what we paid for him, but not much. When City are coming in and saying 85 million pounds, and West Ham sort of put it on City, from what I've heard today, yeah, as you sort of float around Twitter, that Lucas Paqueta for 85 million pounds up front and Cole Palmer. If that's not taking the mick, then I don't know what is. Like David Sullivan just literally taking the absolute mick there. But you know what, I do like this with West Ham. Like I like this no nonsense shithousery type of thing, because how many times we've been burnt on players before in the past? Do you know what I'm saying? So I do like it. I do, and I want to see it at West Ham. And do you know what? Even though I despise Sullivan massively, like I like what he's doing there in regard to that, because he's not bowing down. Now let's be honest. If Sullivan sees the pound signs, and City come in with a higher bid, say 95 million, he's got to consider it. He has, because West Ham's ain't going to get that type of money for anyone else. Do you know what I mean? Maybe the next player up could be Bowen, but we will see. Snazzy Azzy, I hope you're all good, mate. I really hope Steiden and Moyes have actually split their positions needed at the club. Steiden's having the striker replacement role is exciting. I agree. I just want to see. I think we just need to see a fresh centre forward up front. Do you know what I mean? There is a problem up front. I said it last week when I've done the space and I've done the videos last week. I don't really worry about defensive with West Ham. I really don't. I think West Ham have got a few good defenders in there. Do you know what I mean? Who can sort themselves out. What I do worry is the attack line. And someone's commented on one of my videos and said, "Well, it's the first game in, and you're saying about the attack." you can't rely on Jared Bowen. Ben Rama's not scoring the goals in open play. And listen, Alfie will come in and say Ben Rama does not score many open play goals. He only scores penalties and the odd one or two. Do you know what I'm saying? He's got a point, and we need more than that. That's what I'm saying. And Mikel Antonio, for me, he's been a good servant to West Ham, but all good things do come to an end. I think it has to end and bring someone in fresh. Do you know what I'm saying? Afternoon, James. Moyes can't find a defensive striker, so we'll convert Bowen or Kudus if we get in. Yeah, I know, mate. I know. I'm not happy on the old Bowen thing. I'll be real. I'll be honest. I think it's a risk, major risk. I think you're asking Jared Bowen to go into a role. Now, listen, at Hull, he was a decent player in that sort of position. Yeah, but he never used to play as a centre forward. He used to play just behind the striker. Right, there used to be a striker up front for Hull. And this is why I know a bit about him when he was at Hull, because I was with someone at the time, and I used to go up to Hull quite a bit, and um, he was always a decent player in sort of dropping off the striker. And where he is at West Ham and that role he's sort of gone into now as that right-sided inside forward, I think it's perfect for him. I really do. It's like putting Mo Salah up front. I just don't think it works. But I think Mo Salah on the wing is better than Mo Salah through the middle. But yeah, I'm not comparing him to Mo Salah. Let's put it like that. Where are we? Let's have a look. All right. Mate, I got right. Me too. Keep him here. I agree, mate. I think if Paquetta's agent that is pushing for the move, the agent fee will not be as high as next year with the new rules. I agree, Mark, on that. Paquetta's London or Manchester, Lucas, you go. Manchester, we went to false. True. Kudus' 7 injuries in the last 3 seasons, missed 47 games for Ajax. Could be a risk. I don't know, mate. I think any player's a risk at the end of the day. I really do. I'm going to get down to these comments and I'm going to move on to another person who's arrived. You know, I do really want to hear your feedback on that because I've got a lot of feedback on that the other day. Can see why City don't want to go any higher, to be honest. 85 following just 3 months decent football is a big risk. For better to stay with us and get Champions League. I agree. Before I move on, I want to talk about this man. Yeah, where is he? Jesse Lingard's returns. Unbelievable. What do you make of that, people? I think, this is me giving a percentage off the top of my head, I think it's about 80% chance it's going to happen. I really do. I think it all aligns with West Ham very, very well. Afternoon, James. Good to see you. Happy with our business so far. I am, mate, but Jesse Lingard's a different story. Now, get your thoughts and opinions in on Jesse Lingard. I had a few debates on Spaces over the last sort of 2 days with Jesse Lingard. Yeah. On the one hand, I can see where people are saying, yeah, bring him in. He's a minimal, like, it's no fee. You pay him sort of not mega wages. And, you know, we will see what happens, sort of thing. Yeah. My attitude is he shouldn't even nowhere near be near the club. Shouldn't at all. What's your thoughts, people? That's what I want to know. Moyes' love child. Very, very true, mate. Very, very true. Let's get this man in. WestHamOnline, welcome.
Good evening.
Good evening, Alf. Talk to me about Jesse Lingard. No, tell you what. Well, now you're here, and I've waited for you for so long. Talk to me about Lucas Paquetta, because I do agree with you on it.
I don't agree with it. I think Paquetta's representatives and his camp have made it clear he wants to go. We've identified a replacement that I think is top quality. I didn't expect us to identify someone like KUDUS, and it looks like we will potentially be getting KUDUS. So I don't see why we would not sell Paquetta for the 85 million that we could get for him. I don't agree with KUDUS and Paquetta playing in the same team necessarily, because I think KUDUS is better in the middle and we're going to end up shoving him out wide to keep Paquetta in the team. I don't know. I just think it's no-brainer to accept 85 million for a very good player, but someone who didn't impact us enough last year to warrant that sort of fee. And I think we need the money now to be able to make sure we can afford a top quality striker,
Yeah.
Kudus, centre back, maybe a full back. You know, I just don't really get it personally.
I understand what you're saying. I do. Yeah, I do. But I do look at this and think, if you're going to build a side, yeah, and a decent side, Paquetta's got to be in it. Yeah, he has to be. I understand what you're saying about the money. Now, what was seen earlier on Twitter was 85 million plus Cole Palmer. Now, you can look at that and say that's a pretty good deal, isn't it? You get Cole Palmer in, he's young.
I do know, I have had it confirmed that was a load of rubbish. I don't know
Right.
who the source, the guy who made it up, who's some Man City source. If we did get that, of course, that would have been one of the best deals I've ever seen in my whole life. But of course, we're never going to get that. I just think what's happened is we've probably gone, we want 90 because we're going to get 85 next year. Well, we've got an 85 release clause next year.
Yeah.
And Man City have gone, Jesus Christ, we thought we were being nice with 70. 90 is a bit, I think it's a bit ridiculous myself.
Yeah, it is a little bit. It is a little bit. Right. As you've discussed that, and listen, I slightly agree with you. I think, right, I want him here, but if West Ham can build, like, get 2 or 3 other players in, then I'm not against it. And plus, he has been he's been a good player for us for the amount of time he's been here. Now, let's talk about Jesse Lingard, mate, because I ain't spoke to you on a live for a while. Yeah. Talk to me about his return, because he looks like he is returning.
If it's for squad depth, then I'm happy with it. Despite the fact he was poor for Nottingham Forest last year. But what I will say, yeah, he was poor for Nottingham Forest, so we have to keep that in mind. But if he can match anywhere near the levels he showed when he was at us, then of course it's a great deal and a short-term deal. What we can't be doing is bringing him in and then, not getting KUDUS because of it. I don't think that will happen, but that's one thing we definitely can't be doing. And do you know what? I think it's the only problem is, let's say we keep Paquetta, we keep KUDUS, we keep Fornals, we keep Lingard. We've got 4 players there, and I think all 4 are pretty good players, and all 4 of their best positions are pretty similar. I think that's slightly worrying.
In what regard?
Well, I'd say Paquetta's best position is an attacking midfielder. I'd say the same for KUDUS and Lingard. I'd say Fornals is a centre mid, but you have to, when you play Fornals centre mid, you've got to play some defensive players alongside him. So one of KUDUS or Paquetta wouldn't be able to play. I just think, once again, I don't get why we're keeping Paquetta. I think it will just end in tears.
I don't know. I agree with you slightly. I think if the fee comes in now, it ain't right, to get rid of him. But I can understand it if West Ham go out and buy other players. Someone said to me the other night, I think it was Kane, turned around and said to me about the FFP, where Declan Rice is 100% profit because he's come from the youth. It sort of boosts up our FFP.
Yeah.
Obviously, with him coming here for a year, getting rid of him, that would help us out in regard to bringing more players in. The only problem I have, Alf, is that how many players is too many at West Ham? Like, how many players is it that it becomes a bit of a problem that you've got to try and integrate 7, 8 players into the first team as good as?
I think that's a problem I'm already considering. I think Chelsea will encounter this problem already. When people are going, oh, let's get KUDUS, let's get Paquetta, let's get Cole Palmer as well. I'm like, well, on FIFA, that would be lovely, where people don't have temperaments and form isn't considered. In real life, that's just a car crash waiting to happen. You can't have too many luxury players or very good players of a similar ilk in the same team. I think we're pushing our luck if we have KUDUS and Paquetta in the same team. If we dared to get Cole Palmer as well and have all 3 of them in the same team, I think we'd probably get relegated. I think I'm already not happy about the fact that KUDUS will be shoved out to the wind, because we will accommodate Paquetta if we keep him, and we will be thinking about Paquetta. And I'd want KUDUS to be playing in the middle, personally.
Are we going to have a bit of a situation like we had with Deck last season? Like, are we going to be sort of in a situation where this season, if Paquetta stays here on September the 1st, yeah, and he's here, are we going to have to sort of accommodate Lucas Paquetta rather than the team like he was with Declan Rice last season?
Yeah, I think we probably will. I think let's look at it this way. I think Paquetta probably could go for about 70, 75. I don't think any club will pay above 75, apart from maybe Man City, who might cough up the 85 if they get desperate.
Yeah.
So let's say we sold Rice for 105. We've got 180 million worth of talent in our midfield last season, apparently, according to that. And the dynamic just didn't work because both
Yeah.
of Paquetta's and Rice's best areas on the pitch are on the left side. So it's all well and good having really good players like Paquetta and Rice or Paquetta and Kudus, but if it doesn't work together, then it usually doesn't work together. And I think when people even start to question things like that, they know that it's probably not going to work. Even us sitting here questioning how the hell are we going to fit in Kudus if we keep Paquetta.
Well, basically,
I already have a problem with that.
I think Bowen's going up front. I'm not seeing and I don't like it. And this is where I'm going to lead on to sort of talk about David Moyes, and you're the perfect man for it. What do you make of it? Because I actually believe Kudus is coming in to go right-sided winger, and I think Bowen's going up front. I think Moyes ain't going to go and get a striker. I don't think you can find a striker that can do what he really wants, if I'm honest.
I don't particularly like it. I prefer Bowen. If he was up front, I'd want him in a front two in like a 3-5-2 or something.
Yeah,
that's the only way I'd like him up front. My favourite position for him is at right wing. I don't think Kudus is a better right winger than Jarrod Bowen, especially for a Moyes team. I think Kudus is a better midfielder. I'd want Kudus to be playing in midfield. And I saw people earlier, so I put a tweet out earlier saying, how can we fit Paquetta and Kudus in the same team? And some of the things I was seeing, it just wouldn't work. Like I was seeing Kudus and Paquetta both playing as central midfielders. I think that would be an absolute disaster.
No, he can't. He can't. He was he originally, from what I've sort of read, he was a DM, Kudus, and then obviously Ajax pushed him out sort of as a more attacking player. And no, you want this geezer on either wing, left or right, and just bombing down the wing basically, like carrying the ball. Do you know what I'm saying? Like we need ball carriers. Now this is where it comes into the Lingard thing. Now, for me, Lingard shouldn't be here. He just shouldn't be here, but that's on Moyes. Do you think Moyes is putting himself in a bit of, how can I put it? Is Moyes sort of putting himself up on offer a little bit by bringing Jesse Lingard back, considering how bad Jesse's been with us over the last 2 years?
If he does bring him back and we do bring in Kudus and then we do keep Paquetta, then I think it will end in tears. I think there's too many big personalities, too many people who rate themselves highly in a similar position. I am worried a bit. I think keeping Paquetta is just going to ruin us.
Is that a possibility? Which wouldn't be.
No, I think Newcastle have better midfielders than Paquetta already. I think Bruno Guimaraes can play left or right. I think he's better than, well, he plays left at the moment. Or defensive midfield, sorry. And he's better than Paquetta. They brought in Sandro Tonali to play on the right. And Joe Linton got their player of the season, I'm pretty sure, last year. And I think he's quality, so.
I must admit, he's a man reborn, that geezer. But if the squad is as it is now, who do we use for cup runs, Europe, etc.? Bowen, Paquetta, and Benny flogged week in, week out again. Lingard feels, depleted attacking line. It's a good question from Happy Amaret. I hope she's doing well. But I'm going to ask you this then, WestHamOnline. If Paquetta stays, we sign Mavropanos. Can't believe I'm getting his name right. Kudus, Lingard. If we sign them 3 players, how many more do we need?
We need a striker, which is 1. I want a right back.
Yeah,
maybe one fullback. I don't want to overbuy again. I thought we overbought last year a bit. I want to see like 5 or 6 players at the most, really. So maybe a striker and one fullback. Otherwise, I just think you're doing a transition season again where you're trying to get everyone to gel together.
I agree. I agree. I must admit, Trev Cherry might be good, mate. Weird that there isn't another striker anywhere that can do the job. Don't do that to Bowen, please. I don't think Moyes knows how to work with strikers. Got to feed the ego of some players sometimes.
I
What do you
think
make
we'll
of
get
that?
the dodgy bloke, James Wahi, who I think we get him in.
We might as well talk about him. And you're on the opinion that he should be nowhere near the club. I'm very similar to you. I think this brings more heat on to West Ham than we need. Like if he doesn't perform, then people are going to be right on his case, and we just don't need that. What you saying for him, mate?
We already had this situation that I just mentioned about how I think we're buying too many attacking players, like Paquetta, Lingard, KUDUS, all of this crap, like all in the same team. And then we want to bring in a striker who, whether you believe the allegations or not, is up to you. There's not enough evidence for me to say he definitely did it, unlike Mason Greenwood, for example. And I'm not going to go into the allegations because we'll get demonetized, but I imagine it's on his where it is. It's on Google in loads of different places. I just think
Yeah,
it's stupid. Why would you pay 40 million investment for someone who's got such serious allegations against him when you've already got problems at the club? The club don't need more problems.
yeah.
And
I
And
hear. Listen, I'm listening.
let's say it comes out as true as well, and it's proven that we didn't do our background checks well enough. What does that say for the women's team, the women's supporters, the
True.
community?
It isn't good. Let's be honest. Like for how many strikers there is out there, this one doesn't like fill me with joy. But one striker that is out there down in the south coast who scored last week against us is Dominic Solanke, and this week a £40 million bid sort of went in and got rejected, basically, supposedly. What do you make of that?
Um,
He's not worth 40 million, Alf. I'm telling you that now.
I
He's
think
not.
I'm surprised it got rejected. I don't believe the 40 million from Jacob Steinberg because I think for an opening bid, to
Yeah.
go in with an opening bid for Solanke, and we've not heard any other bids. Or I've not even heard of any other bids. I did hear about that Solanke one. I used Dan Lawless as a source, but
Mm.
I reckon it was more 34. But even then, I really like Solanke, as I said. I think I said it on the match reaction the other day, but I think the most I'd pay is probably 35.
He's not worth 40 million. And this is what does me with West Ham. Like I just can't seem to find a striker on the planet. Do you know what I'm saying? For me, he's not worth 40 million. I'm glad they rejected it, but no, West Ham they will go in for other players. Right, let's talk about Moyes. Obviously, how does Moyes, Alf, get all these players playing straight away? Because last season he had all these players straight away. He had Tilo, Skamaka, Paquetta, to name them three, and only one of them really sort of performed towards the back end of the season, and that is Paquetta. But Tilo started off bad, was bad, had good moments, bad moments, but in the end, he's a £10 million player, and Skamaka is, is not here no more. So how does Moyes get the best out of these players fast, basically?
By putting them in systems that would suit them. Paqueta, I think, is in a system that actually does let him flourish a bit. I think people underestimate how much freedom Paqueta gets at times in our system. I actually think he'd get less at Man City because they're a more positional based team.
Yeah.
Um, so Paqueta, I've not got a problem with the way we play with him. Skamaka obviously didn't suit us at all. Poor
Mm.
scouting. Kera, at times he has, at times he hasn't. At the end of the day, I just think the bottom line with him is he's a £10 million player, which is what we paid. But yeah, I already think we're struggling because we're buying Kudus, who's best in the middle from what I've heard. I can't claim to have watched loads of him. I watched him against Rangers in the Champions League last year, and I watched him against Liverpool.
I thought he was good against Liverpool. Very good.
Yeah, but he does look a very good player. So to shove him out wide would be, unless he's happy with it, I don't really get it.
I think if you shove him out wide, Kudus, this is where the problem is in regards of Moyes. I'm going to get to my sort of final thing, Kudus and David Moyes discussion. How does Moyes get the best out of him? Because he's going to be the statement signing, I think. Like, I would like to see other players come at the club, but with Paquetta not leaving, I just don't see it myself. So,
Just saying
Moyes,
quickly, sorry to butt in, but just a bit of transfer news. Elye Wahi absent from the squad for Montpellier tomorrow.
that's it all. So whether or not he's coming here or not. So how does Moyes get the best out of him, mate? Kudus.
I don't think he will, if I'm honest. I don't
Ooh,
think
wow. Breaking news. Oh, you don't think he will?
No.
Why?
Because I think a lot of the things that Kudus is really good at is what Paquetta does for us. I think Paquetta likes to come get the ball off the centre backs at times, but also likes to get involved in the offensive play. From what I've seen with Kudus, he's pretty similar in that regard. Kudus likes a lot of the ball. He won't get that at West Ham. Good presser, from what I've heard. Good presser. So that could be a good thing. And he has played for poor sides. He played for Ghana, who, let's be honest, aren't the best compared to some of the other teams they faced in the World Cup. So, but I don't know. I just think he'd probably be more suited to someone like a Brighton. But let's just hope I'm wrong.
Ooh, WestHamOnline. That's breaking news, people. He doesn't believe in David Moyes anymore on this signing. Alf, anything that you want to discuss? Anything that you want to discuss before I get to a few questions from the chat? Anything on your mind you want to ask me? Anything else?
I want to ask you and the chat. Not sorry, but to go back to the striker Wahi.
Right.
Say we announce him after the Chelsea game Monday morning. We announce him.
Right.
How will you feel towards the club? Will it I don't know. How would you feel?
I think it's not a good move. I'll be quite disappointed, really, because then I'll be thinking, why? It's okay. People are very much of the opinion, and I'll say it's for me, then I'll get to the chat, yeah. But people are very much of the opinion where it doesn't matter. He's playing for West Ham. But what happens in his private life has happened, and that's down to him to deal with. That's all well and good, but like you just said, you've got young kids watching, and you've got women's teams and things like that. It's not a good move, in my opinion. I think this causes more heat than anything, if I'm being honest. Right. And I do agree with you on this. I don't always agree with you on a lot of things, but on this one I do. I think there's more strikers out there you can go and get. I think there's better strikers you can go and get. I think Balogun you can go and get from Arsenal if you really wanted him. I'm not on this vibe with him. I really am not. And I think unless he all the charges are cleared and he's literally, I know there are accusations at the minute, but behind every accusation there's some sort of element of fact or truth in it. So I don't know, mate. I'm not convinced. Do you know what I mean? I wouldn't be happy about it. I will say that.
Yeah, I just think I don't get how it wouldn't cause more harm than good. Everyone would find out about it. All the other Premier League teams and away fans and players for clubs and everything would hear of the allegations. Like, for example, Thomas Partey.
I said this earlier. Go on.
Thomas Partey is he's actually an excellent footballer for Arsenal. But even though the allegations will never I don't think they'll ever get proven because of what's gone on with all of them. It's not like the Greenwood where there's clear evidence. There is very good evidence for Partey, but I don't think it will ever get proven, or I think he could always wiggle his way out of it. But still, it's definitely caused Arsenal more harm than good in the last year, despite how good he's been on the pitch. They want to flog him off for cheap, which says a lot. They've had to buy Declan Rice for 105 million when, let's be honest, Partey's already a very good player. He gets booed at times. Everyone's aware of it. It's just a poor look. Some Arsenal fans I know are just stopped watching for a while because Arteta kept playing him. I just think it's just terrible, really. If he scores for us while and let's say there's some concrete evidence now that what he's done is true, how do
Yeah.
we react? Because you don't want to feel guilty celebrating when your team scored. I just think it's more harm than good.
I absolutely agree with you, mate. Now, I think Paul just said it in the chat here, and I will sort of go into it. What's with the Wahi issues? Well, basically, what it is, Paul, if you go on Google and have a look, he's done a lot of things in his sort of early years at West Ham. Now, don't get me wrong, as a young lad, we'll do stupid things, but things of a sexual nature isn't cool. And also, he's not only done things of a sexual nature with people, he's also decides that he wants to punch his missus in the face quite a lot. Do you know what I mean? Which is bad, right? Which is bad. So, like, to bring a kid here, right? And let's be honest, for me, I don't know about you, Alf, but this just doesn't feel like a David Moyes approval. Like for me, like
Tim
I'm going to be
Steidman
honest,
has identified him, which I don't know
he's
enough
a
about
he
Steidman's
looks a
account.
decent player. I'll give him
Yeah.
that. He looks a very decent player. And if we were, if you take the bad away from him, I think we've got a great player.
Well,
Yeah,
I
I think
think we
he.
are at the point where Tim Steidman and Sullivan will sign players whether Moyes likes it or not. But if I hear anything that Moyes has background checked this guy and the club have background checked him and he's spoke to him and he's still gone ahead with the signing, I'll be like, either there's some serious stuff in the background that's proven that these allegations are false, or we've just Moyes and Steiden and the club have just got no sort of respect for their supporters and the women's team. As I've already mentioned, I just think
Oh,
unfair.
Happy Hammerette says Randolph punched his missus and we kept him.
Yeah, that's true. It is true.
True,
Yeah,
but
that
I feel
went well under the radar, didn't it? That actually is true, and we still signed him, and so yeah, there you go. Actually, that's a very good point.
I'll tell you what, mate. If they come to West Ham, they got the poor old women need to learn to duck, mate. Honestly, because like the geezers, nah, I'm real, mate. Do you know what I'm saying? And
But
Robert says
the thing he did, the punching at the women was really bad,
it
but
was bad.
eventually,
Yeah.
I reckon you could probably somewhat forgive that. The other thing, I mean, you can't really. I don't even know what you could say about it.
Is right. I'm going to ask you something. Yeah, sort of before we come towards the end. Yeah. Now, is it a case that Moyes is going against the grain a little bit? Yeah, because obviously Zuma was captain the other day, right? And someone brings up in the chat. David brings up in the chat. Yeah, where is it? Here, right? He says not to mention Zuma is now the captain, right? Is it a case of Moyes just don't care what they've done, really? Like as long as he's going to do it his way, sort of thing, and it could be regards of Wahai.
I don't. I think we should. I think Moyes still likes the background of people, and I think as a club that should be something we are hot on. For example, I don't like Ben Rama as a player, but from what I hear of Ben Rama, he's only good things in the background. Apparently, he's a religious man. He's a very nice person. Gets along with everyone. Very never comes out in the media and says anything, hunky dory.
Yeah,
Fornals is another one. One of the nicest people you hear of in football. And for me, one of the main reasons we did so well in the years when we finished sixth and particularly seventh was the team spirit, especially when it was lockdown and we had no fans. I felt
I
like
agree
the
on that.
characters of players like Ben Rama, Fornal, was Souček, another one, a massively nice person, but a
Yeah.
good character in the dressing room. I think that helped us a lot.
I actually agree with him that. I'm going to be honest. Like when West Ham had no fans in the ground through COVID, never forget the first game. We lost 2-0 against Newcastle. It was absolutely dire and everything got shut down. Yeah. And basically they decided to play the whole season behind closed doors. And it just seemed like all the lads were free. It was like freedom just to go and do their thing and everything. Yeah. Now, I agree with you. Like the team morale is everything. Like, obviously, if you're bringing players in, like the experienced players, I think the Zuma situation is has come and gone and it's sort of bypassed. But this could be a new thing, and we just don't need it. So I'm going to say I'm going to agree with you on this one. I really am. I think why he should be distant memory, but I think it's going to happen though, mate.
Well, I've
I think.
just seen Fabrice Hawkins 5 minutes ago.
Right.
West Ham have almost agreed an agreement with El Yawahi between 35 and 40 million euros. Well, I'd need to check this. Then
Right.
again, Fabrice Hawkins has got the club that he plays for wrong. So how reliable he is another thing. But
See, I said this the other day on the Rumour Has It show I've done, yeah? And Sean brings up here. I think we'd rather go for final forward Santiago Gimenez. As he's got the baggage, as he don't got the baggage, don't sound like this. The other geezer, it's not him or nothing is. Gimenez is a very good player, extremely good. Like, and West Ham should be all over that geezer. The only problem is he's just on a new contract with Feyenoord, which will make him about £50 million player, which is a bit of a problem. So, if I was looking at Gimenez, I think he's the perfect replacement for Antonio. If I'm being honest, like people say about Skamaka, but I don't understand what I can't work out. And before we come to the end, WestHamOnline, is people say about Moyes can't find a player like Mikel Antonio, but he's going to go and put Jared Bowen up front, who's nothing like Mikel Antonio. He can't hold the ball up like.
Souček running up front as well.
Do you know what? You might laugh, and my chat might go mad, but it would not surprise me in the slightest if he plays like Souček as a further forward, like centre, just off a Bowen or something. Do you know what I mean? Like some sort of target man type crap. Do you know what I'm saying? Right. Anything else, WestHamOnline, from for you? Anything you want to discuss? Moyes, West Ham, the weekend. Might as well give me your thoughts on the weekend. Tell me what you think about Sunday.
On the weekend, I think we've got a good chance because they still have to settle in a load of players. I don't think Pochettino is as good as some people say. But as I spoke about in the tactical video on each, when his zones will be in the members section. So become a member now, people. You can watch content like that. I think we did that today. They've got very good rotations. However, when me and Lucas filmed that tactical video, we expected Reece James to play, and he's not going to. So that's a very good thing. You know, Gusto's a good right back. We played against him when he was at Lyon, but he's not Reece James. And I think Reece James is probably their best player alongside Enzo Fernandez. Having a few new players like Gusto and Caicedo and that forward. And
big blow, losing Reece James, isn't it?
Yeah, having a load of new players in the team and then come in for your first away game at a 60,000 seat stadium where it's our first home game of the season. I don't think it will be easy for them at all. And I would not be surprised if we pulled off a shock win.
Oh, I don't know. What are you saying then? What are you predicting?
2-1, West Ham, James Ward-Prowse, Jared Bowen. No, sorry. Thomas Souček from a James Ward-Prowse free kick. Jared Bowen.
Well, fair enough, Al. Fair enough. I'm not as convinced as you. I will be honest. I think West Ham might struggle in this game. I don't know. I want to see Alvarez play, James Ward-Prowse play, obviously. Do you think they'll play Alvarez and Ward-Prowse?
Ward-Prowse, yes. Alvarez, no, because he's not trained. Like he's not up to fitness enough.
Yeah, I hear you, mate. I hear you. Snazzy's got 1-1. Draw, banker. Right, we're going to leave it at that. Alf, anything else that you want to say before we go? Any transfer, any links you've heard? Anything?
Well, I need to find out after this show the truth about this El Yawahi thing.
Good question from Paul.
Benny.
Good question for. It has to be Benny, mate.
Benny's not. He does. Keep him on him.
He's the master penalty taker, as Alfie knows. You know what I mean? Don't score many open play goals, but we don't talk about that on this channel, right? But Paul, 100% Ben Rama, mate, all day long. Don't listen to him there. You know what I'm saying? Right, that's enough from us. Listen, before I go, please do smash a like on the video. Please do subscribe to E20 Zone TV. Check out the membership perks. As Alfie said, they done a tactical analysis every day. I must admit, for 20 minutes, it was pretty good going, pretty decent, I must admit. And I'm not really into sort of the tactical side of things, but Alfie is, Lucas is, and they've done a pretty good thing on that. Also, yeah, if you follow me on Twitter, I'm doing a thing on the members, yeah, where I'm interviewing individual fans. If you want to come on, have your say on the members section of this channel, by all means, DM me, and from next week I'll start getting people on and doing like sort of 20 minute sort of stints of what people want to say about West Ham, Moyes, the future, Prague, everything. So do check that out on there. Also, I want to thank everyone for their recent support recently. Subscribers are good. Life on this channel is good, and we're all going in a strong direction. I will say that. So, Alf, are you out on? Are you going out tonight, Alf? Anywhere? You going out and having a few beers or anything?
Yep, I'm going down the pub.
Oh yeah, you going down the pub tonight, Alf?
Yep.
So am I, mate. So am I. I had enough of West Ham for 1 week, and that is it for us. Do you know what I mean? Anyway, take care of yourselves. Enjoy your weekend, whatever you are doing. And on Sunday, let's hope for 3 points against Chelsea. All the best.